We made all these pieces for your birthday that's coming up, right? Are you ready to look at them? This is 151 degrees. You ready to open it? You want to open it?
I want to open it.
Okay, this handle right here.
Is it not hot?
This handle's not hot. Can you push it up?
Is it hot? Is inside hot?
Inside is a little hot. Here, ready? Open. Push, 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 push. Whoa!
I'll put this behind my back so it doesn't lost.
Whoa! What do you see?
Wow.
Oh my goodness, that's not what I expected. Is that what you thought they were going to look like?
Yeah.
You knew they were going to look that way? Oh, we need gloves. They're a little hot. They're a little hot.
My gloves.
You want one?
That one.
Okay. Here, you have one. That one's yours.
I need one here.
All right, let's go show it over here. Come on, let's look at it in the sunlight.
Oh no!
Wow. Look at that pretty color. Look at
That's a
this
little bit too big.
You want to touch it? Wow, that's called blue hydrangea. That's so pretty. It's blue hydrangea on...
What's wrong with your glove?
You don't have to wear a glove.
But I want to touch it.
You could touch it. It's hot, but you could touch it quick. Tap it. There you go. This blue hydrangea on speckled buff.
What? That.
It's got little speckles on it. You see them?
Yes. I need one.
Wow, that's pretty. And it says Kai on it. Toasty clay. We did a collab for Kai's birthday. And let's see. The inside of this one is the special part because we did...
You want to play balloon in the front yard with me?
Well, we already lost his attention span.
Sure, Kai. See you, Mom.
Hey toasty friends! It is kiln unload day and I'm coming to you from my toasty little clay shack in Central Florida, where I was outside today, and then my cell phone camera ran out of space. So we are now here in the glazing studio, hand building studio portion of my home for a little reveal. I'm filming on my iPad, so we'll see how that goes. The quality looks decent, and I have some natural lighting and a mix of overhead lighting, but I'll try to get you the best shots that I can. So I have a mix of things in here. For my son's 4th birthday, we are doing a little art gallery themed party. So I let him kind of run wild with some glaze combinations in this kiln unload, and he always chooses just like random things that I would never think to choose, but sometimes they come out really cool. So I have that for you, and then I have a bunch of refires that I just threw in, and they're refires of things that I made way back, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I was just getting started in my clay journey. So they are a mixed bag for sure. And I'll try to remember some of the glaze combinations for you. All right, let's start with what we made for my son's birthday party. So, first up is a little sipper mug. I have to keep lights coming in and out here. Little sipper mug in blue hydrangea. He chose that color. And then I believe this is Amaco chartreuse underglaze, the velvet range. And we tried putting supernova over it, which I feel like the results are a little bit milky, but I did see outside some of that oil spot effect. You can kind of see it shiny down there. I don't know how well it's gonna show up on camera. Maybe I can get a picture of it later. But still, I feel like this is a very Lori B pottery type combination that he put together, like a very bright color. I guess they're not complementary colors, like opposite on the color wheel, but I don't know, I can see her doing like a bright green and a bright blue. But I just love the idea that, you know, kids pick the most unique combos to put together. And I feel like Lori has that childlike heart. Didn't they say like an artist is just the kid in you that survived or something like that? So I love that. Kind of reminds me of her. All right. Here's another sipper mug that I let him mat. He let him go with stroking coats and layer on as many colors as he wanted. So the first layer is all just dabbed on, blobbed on stroking coats, all different colors. And I knew I had to glaze the inside to make it watertight and food safe. So I did 2 layers of honey flux. He's got some nice pops of color. There's some teal in there. I think that's candy apple red. Teal next time. I think there's cantaloupe flavor. I'll put them in the description. Anyway, this one is, there's our collab. Toasty Clay Studio and Cayenne. I think that came out kind of cool. My husband and I were debating because I was like, I'm gonna cover the whole thing, I think, with honey flux so that it blends into like a big rainbow. And we were debating whether to keep it looking a little more like kids' art at the bottom. And I said, well, you know what? I have to make it food safe and watertight, so I'll make the top half look a little more impressionistic. And I'll keep the bottom half looking more like a kid's art piece. All right. So, had a couple more of those Karanuki cottages laying around that I did in the style of blank earth ceramics. And Kai chose the glaze combo for this one.
One more coat.
Yep, gloop it on. Make it nice and thick, not too painterly.
What is too painterly?
Sometimes when you go back and forth a lot, the coat gets thinner and thinner. So we want to make one nice thick coat, and then we let it dry, and we do another coat.
It just happened to be that I had the combo colors for the birch cordovan flux combo out together on my shelf, so he chose them. And I was like, that's perfect, we can do all 3 of these. And so this is that combo that I think the Unseths made popularized. And it's actually the first time I've done it. So 2 times birch, band of light flux around the middle, like a very chunky band, and 2 times cordovan over the top in kind of a wave. This had a little bit of carving on it too, so it made the glaze runs a little unique. I don't know where I'm supposed to look. Where is the camera on this thing? Maybe directly in the middle. And then I have not taken the roof off yet. This is one of those wax melter cottages, but this is Enchanted Forest times 2 on top. Times 2, I think. Yeah, if it's Mayco, I usually do heavy coat times 2. I have not taken the top off yet. It's always the scary part. I wanted to see if I could let it cool down a little first. I need to get a little mallet. I'm not gonna push my luck, but I did wax it and I can see that it's not touching unless the glaze on the inside ran down, but I don't think it did. Okay, what else have we got? Here's my cottage. I did a lot of just like chiseling off different random striations to make it look like actual, like almost like this cottage is built into the cliffside. So it's sort of faceted. And I really think that's unique. I love it. Like this, I just sheared this off. And it's got like a rippled effect to it. It's not perfect, which I love. It's like a gem. Okay. One of my windows there did fuse shut. All right, the roof on this is 2 times Emerald Falls, about the bottom third of that roof, 2 times Nori in the middle, and then I was gonna do Cirrus Flow, but I switched at the last second to a new to me glaze, which was Moss Mist on top. And then the combo on the bottom is Sangria times 2. I think I first did the bottom half, Nori Green times 2, and then Sangria times 2. And they didn't really have an overlap. They kind of just went straight up to one another. Maybe a teeny tiny bit of overlap. But can you see all the swirls? Even on the doorstep here, on the inside, it's gonna look really cool with a candle in it. And I'll show you the textile inspiration for this. I think I have them right over here. So you can tell me if you think they came out similar. So this was Cirrus Nori Emerald Falls. And instead of the Cirrus, I did Moss Mist at the last second. And then Sangria to Nori Green. So that was the textile inspiration on Brown Bear. And here's the real thing. It's very cool. Very cool. See, that's a pretty close match. Next one I had is a little thumbprint cup, which is my first time doing that. The little indentations, the pinched cup. Tumbler, I don't know what people call this. And I tried out a glaze combination that was 3 times iron lustre all over, and then 2 times tropical teal. And I think the inside might just be tropical teal. very blue on the inside. It's delicious. It's got some really pretty runs in there. Okay. These were a couple of very old ones. So when I first got started, I had a lot of Speedball glazes. So if I can find the combos written down, I'll put them in here. These were just refires. They weren't horrible. This one in particular had a lot of orange peel texture on the bottom before I threw it back into refire. And actually, when I took these out of the kiln, I didn't film it, the refires, because I was so disappointed in all the refires. And I was having one of those moments where I was like, I should have just left it well enough alone. Why did I do that? But now, coming back after that emotional response of the first initial reaction, I actually do think this looks better. It's a little bit less orange peel, still a tiny bit. But it had the coolest, like, starburst pattern. And I was a very heavy glazer at first. But yeah, you can see I was just signing a K back then for my name, Caitlin. And see, this is from December of 2023. And I believe the outside is Valaris by Penguin Pottery, and then Raspberry Mist, but the Speedball Raspberry Mist, or Lavender Mist. And then the inside of this, I don't know if I can recall this from memory, but I think it's some version of Blue Tiger's Eye and Lavender Mist maybe. But if I figure it out, I'll put it in there. And this one had really bad orange peel as well, and it doesn't look that much better right now. Again, just went way too heavy on the glaze. But what came out in the refiring is like these beautiful pastel colors. And again, this is like lavender mist on the outside. Lavender mist on the outside, one coat of lavender mist on the inside, and then 2 of coral on the inside, and a Blue Tiger's Eye middle center.
Oh yeah,
Just interesting.
Yeah.
So like the Blue Tiger's Eye and the coral didn't play the same way on this one
No.
as that one. I remember thinking that this one, when it first came out of the kiln, looked a lot like the inside of a shell at the beach, like abalone, is that what it's called? At first. If I have any old pictures of what it first looked like, I'll put them in there. And then this one, oh yeah, I originally did my hand at carving. It's got my initials on the bottom. Some mushies and some flowers. Some little sprigs, poppies, that kind of thing, little morel. And it came out like very matte, caked on, like, I don't want to say crystallized, I don't even know. So this does look a tiny bit better than how it originally came out of the kiln, if you can believe that. Still not great, but the inside is pretty. I do not even know what happened to this next one. So this was originally a surprise glaze mug. where I was collecting all of the glaze water from glazing all my pieces at the beginning. So it's primarily a mixture of Speedball glazes. And then letting it dry out, let the water evaporate. I turned it into glazed chips, have them in a mason jar over here. And then I think this is succulent celadon for a stable base layer. And then I just coated it in, I believe, Spanish moss, and then Spanish moss, and then rolled it in glazed chips. And it just looked a little muddy when I first fired it, and very browns and blues. And now it looks a little more greens and, I don't know, greens and blues. I just got some glass in my hand because I don't even know what happened, but this all just sheared off in the refiring, and now it's crazed like heck. So it kind of shattered a bit, and it wasn't close to the kiln shelf, but if I look at my kiln shelf, it like exploded up, and there is a ring, like half a ring on my kiln shelf on the underside, and I just couldn't believe that. And now I've gotten a piece of it stuck in my hand. Not smart. Gotta be very careful with damaged glaze. Anyway, if I had that to do differently, I don't know, I might start keeping like different families of glaze in different glaze water canisters. I already did the thumb cup. All right, this one was also a bit of a fail from the newest firing, and I finally had my husband's buy-in to get an advancer kiln shelf because this is just gonna take a lot of time to save and recover from. If I can even grind that off. But this was just a little planter. And I believe this is iron lustre ×3 all over. And then this has the Gogh Iris Jungle Gems on it, which you can't really tell. Let me see if I wrote this down. My trusty logbook. Oh, so the thumb cup was actually 3 times oatmeal, 2 times tropical teal. So that was this one in the back. 3 times oatmeal as the under base layer, and 2 times tropical teal. And I just did tropical teal, actually poured it in and poured it out on the inside. And I just did Gogh Iris Jungle Gems, just in a blob or in a band around the middle. So I guess that's what some of these, they were the blue crystals. This one is iron lustre ×3 and iron lustre in 1 thick wavy rim on the top for a little extra. And then oatmeal ×3. Starting from the top till halfway down, which I tried to do like a coat, a coat, a coat, so that it would be like kind of varied and wavy. I feel like this is not super exciting. It actually looks cooler on the inside. My husband liked it though. It's got those like manly tones that men gravitate towards. Although I will say he liked this one much better. And it's the same combo. Is that a different clay? All right, same exact clay, slightly different shape, but such different results. It's so crazy to me. So this side is just a lot straighter. Maybe it ran more because of that. Let's see, did I do anything different? 3 times iron lustre all over, iron lustre and 1 thick wavy rim, on the top 1/3, and then oatmeal times 3. And I just varied it a little bit. Ah, the smaller one actually has iron lustre times 3, iron lustre and 1 thick wavy rim, tropical teal times 2 on the top 1/2, and then the jungle gems Gogh iris. So this one doesn't have any of the tropical teal or the jungle gems. This one is just iron lustre and oatmeal, so like a tried and true, which is gorgeous. And it's pulling all those ambers and purples that you would expect from this combo. I didn't quite realize that it would be sort of satin matte. And the bottom half actually is so shimmery and metallic and glittery. That iron luster in the sunlight. I'll take a picture of it outside. It's hard to tell here. All right. So in a previous video, I showed this. It was my first attempt at slip trailing, which it doesn't look horrible on camera. But this pot, it was gonna be a hanging planter, and I have holes for that. You can see all the pinholes. It took an interesting turn. It is an unfortunate glaze combination that involves Emerald Falls, Nori Green, and Junebug. And the greens did not all play well together. So it kind of looks like a warty toad. Which I don't know, the artist in me almost does not hate it. I think it's kind of funny and cool, and it could look cool in like a fairy garden fantastical situation. So I might keep it and hang it in my garden. But it was a refire. It actually, if you can believe it, the pinholes were worse than this, and I just threw it back in. I didn't add any glaze to it because it was already like heavily coated. And actually these pinholes are they're kind of sealed and not sharp anymore, except for this one right here. It's one little sharp one. The rest mostly feel good. Here's another that I threw in. This was from one of my first kiln openings on YouTube, probably my first YouTube kiln opening. And this had become one of my favorite glaze combinations. But you can see when I threw it back in, gone all overfired. I don't remember which shelf I had it on. And it's crazed like all heck here. I don't know if you can see, yeah. It's crazed like nobody's business. But the combination that I really love and still love, textured kiwi fruit, Spanish moss, and kimchi. All times 2. And originally it had such bad pinholing. The inside actually looks pretty cool now. It had so many pinholes, air bubbles. Look how pretty that is. Now, if I could recreate that somewhere without having to fire it twice, if I could recreate that, oh, it's like ethereal, so gorgeous. And I don't know what's happening in the middle exactly. It had like a little bit of a raised, it's not really raised. It's just where the textured kiwi fruit pooled, I guess. And it looks so opalescent in there. And it's still very pretty. But we lost a lot of the kiwi fruit in the refire. Surprisingly though, it did not drip off. I think I still did it. And then still some pinholes in here. And I fired this on the knob in this direction. So you can see more of the kiwi fruit, which now it looks like a very mossy green. After that firing. Got some pretty cool drips though, and I like that now when you put the lid on, it looks like the drips are moving upward. It's kind of a unique, not trick of the eye, but like an illusion that everything's flowing upward. Anyway, still love that jar. This was an unfortunate. All right. I have a girlfriend that just bought a new house and she's getting married this year. She bought a house. She wants to do her house in a golden hour aesthetic, kind of like sunshiny and lots of yellows and oranges and that kind of thing. So, oof, this is sharp. I was testing out like some yellows and oranges. This is so unfortunate. I hope she doesn't see this even. Ugh. But I was trying out a new to me glaze, which is a matte glaze, which is lemon meringue, Mayco. And that's lovely. It's very lovely. And what I tried to do was put some sunrise spectrum floating glaze on top. That did not, they did not play well together. And I don't know if it's because of the spectrum floating glaze or, and I did sunrise and fuzzy peach. But then I also made the mistake of thinking I could put supernova as a liner glaze on the inside and then just on the top of this plate. I think I actually poured it in and actually, because it's so hard with a brush to go and glaze the underside of this. And I actually had a prototype sipper cup. It was like impossible for me to clean out in there, and it's like super sharp every time I go to wash it. So I had to get better at attaching these. Still a little bit droopy. I think I was running out of time on this when I was attaching it. It was getting too dry. And I wasn't sure if it was going to survive the kiln. It actually had a nice big crack here because the handle, it was like too dry to attach a handle. And I used vinegar. And I mean, it's on there. Solid, glaze glued it. Seemed to work out. You don't really see the crack in the handle. It made a pretty good connection. It's just hideous for other reasons. Way over fired, and it wasn't even on the bottom shelf. It was in the middle. It was like exactly middle shelf, dead center middle of the kiln. You win some, you lose some. But that was my first attempt at a berry cup. So like you wash your berries in there and then pour it out. I don't know why I did this slurping noise for pour it out. It should be like the opposite of a slurping noise. I couple more refires and then a couple more that my son did. So this was my first attempt at a Christmas ornament, and it came through the kiln super late, but my first attempt at transfers. And it had come out perfect, but I wasn't satisfied, so I went back in and smudged the heck out of it, unfortunately. So when I say I should have just left well enough alone, that falls in the same camp. But maybe I can like save it with mother of pearl lustre or a gold lustre firing or something. Or either way, it'll go on my tree and I'll remember the lessons learned, which is pretty much all of pottery. I don't know what to say about this one. It looked way cooler before, but it had some of this like icky pitting, and I think I used cosmic dust, tea dust, and it just like settled really gross in there. And it looked pretty cool before I tossed it into the refire, and now it's just like very pale green, some meh browns. Not a fan, but I do like the shape of that one. This one, a lot of people liked this when it first came out of my kiln, and it does look like a very appealing color on here, and it's got some of that oil spot effect. So this is some of the same colors as the slip trail planter, yet no pinholing. Same clay body. Oh, little pinhole there. There was some pinholing on the original piece, but people liked it, and I was like, you know what, let me just throw it back in and see if I can get some of these pinholes out. And I think I'm happier with it, even though I was probably still not satisfied with it when it came back out. This has like a frozen pond technique. Not the best colors for frozen pond because it's very subtle. Kind of looks like a turtle shell. But I'll put the combo up on screen if I can remember it. And then I think this is the first bowl that I ever threw in my home studio. And it is so heavy and so janky. And it was like perfect until I started to trim it on the wheel. And I mean, it's got a crack in it. This is when I was having like a little kitty fun logo here with my initials. It's got a crack in it. It's got like the jankiest, I don't even know how I would have trimmed this. Like I did it on the wheel, so why is it not even circular back then? And I probably spent like so long with my trimming tools doing this, and then when I flipped it over and got to the rim, it like skittered off and on the side of the wheel on the guard, and I was beside myself with rage. I rage quit, went in the house. I was like, forget this. But I was so in love. Of course I came back. I'm addicted. Aren't we all? This is Living Coral, Speedball Glaze, and Lavender Mist, I believe. I think that's all it is. And I threw it back in because it had a lot of orange peel texture. And now it doesn't. It's just a tiny, it's all sealed. It came out better. I don't know what I'll do with it because I'll just keep it for posterity. All right. Last couple things in here. I'm just gonna bring this over. I've got these little skelly. These are gonna be earrings. chartreuse underglaze with supernova over the top for the skeleton skull in the middle, and then blue hydrangea on the petals. And I didn't want to put the coats on too thickly because I didn't want them to obscure the actual, there we go. I don't want them to obscure the actual skulls. So what do we think? These are going to be studs. I could have made them dangling, but I wanted to try out the studs. These are for my son. My son did these for his party. This is copper jade and some Smokey Merlot, kind of just swooshes of both, times 2 or 3, probably 3. Copper jade has some cool blue effects. And then I kind of left some of his drips. This one's cenote all over, times 2. And the texture came through. The texture roller, he rolled the texture himself, and we used the Cuties GR Pottery forms for these. This is Orchid. It's Spectrum. It's a semi-translucent glaze. So I figured it would look a little bit like a celadon, and it does. And breaks nicely over texture. The rim on this is Cosmic Gold Dust. I was trying to actually push him towards Cosmic Tea Dust because I thought a silvery glitter would look better with the purple, but he was very adamant that the combo is Gold Mama. And he had a couple worry stones, copper jade and Smokey Merlot. And last but not least, the very first thing he said he wanted to make for his birthday when we decided that we were going to work on pottery is a chocolate bar. And he spelled the word chocolate and stamped it in there and carved his name into it, Cayenne Reed. And he made Mama sign it. My Toasty logo is there. And he made Daddy sign it because Daddy helped him make it more of a rectangular shape. Can't eat it. He put glitter on it. Same Cosmic Gold Dust. So we'll see if anybody wants to take home his chocolate bar or if he'll be adamant about keeping it. And last but not least, I have some textiles. Sorry, I'm going on like 40 minutes of rambling here. Here's Supernova on Brown Bear, which I think is very cool. So I might try that out. Moss Mist over Emerald Falls, both times 3. So the Moss Mist is completely covering the Emerald Falls. Blue Hydrangea on Brown Bear, times 2. And then Moth Mist and Emerald Falls. The Emerald Falls is on the bottom half and the Moss Mist is on the top half. And I fire them a little bit leaning, so the Moss Mist had the opportunity to float down a bit. Anyway, that is all for today. I don't know what the Kiln favorite is. Probably the houses. I really do enjoy the blue hydrangea and the chartreuse. It's so bright and cheery and spring is coming. I obviously love Kai's rainbow mug. How can you not love that? I love a stroke and coat honey flux situation. I really love the houses. Obviously, I like these colors. You can tell by my outfit. And the fact that I got to try out Enchanted Forest for the first time, Enchanted Woods, whatever this is called. You know what I mean. You're gonna know what I mean. It's the gray one with the green. And that I got to try out this unseth combination, the birch cordovan combination with flux. And that I got the blues to come out the first time. Kai's good luck. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that comes on here and continues to share their art, because it's super encouraging, it's inspiring, keeps me going. Even though I have long stretches of time where it's chaotic and life gets in the way, and maybe I don't show up in this space, I'm still watching your videos, I'm still commenting on your videos. And when I can get out here and actually get a full kiln, several kiln loads through to get a glaze firing, I am so excited when I open up that kiln and I get to share it with you all. So thank you for your encouragement, any kind words that you've thrown my way. I'm just blown away that this community is all over the world and has some of the nicest people. So bear with me. I've had a lot going on in life lately. I can hear a baby waking up in the other room, so I will be going to tend to him. He just turned 1, so we had our big milestone. He's walking like crazy. He started walking at like 10 and a half months. But yeah, I was glad I could get in this kiln unload video in between taking the kids to our 9-year-old friend's birthday party, and we went to like a soccer birthday today, hence the sports shorts and outfit. And yeah, just momming. We've fully embraced boyhood around here, but I'm still trying to expose my kids to the artsy side of life. So we're either running around in the mud or inside doing some civilized art technique, if you can call it that. It's always nice to make room for pottery in this adventure that is motherhood and find ways to incorporate my kids into it. If you guys have any suggestions, if you have done pottery with your kids or your grandkids or the neighbor kids, or you've made it a profession like art therapy for kids, I would love to hear any like tips or techniques that you have for when you're working with kids. I get a little nervous exposing my kids to some of these like commercial glazes because I'm really not sure exposure for them and that kind of thing. And I do wear latex gloves when I'm working with the kids, and I try to encourage them to do that, but their hands are so tiny that really the gloves are cumbersome. They don't really fit. We try to wash their hands as much as possible when we're glazing, and sometimes, you know, I'll put the gloves on and I'll say, okay, you know, put my hand where you want to smush down the glaze and you use my hand as your paintbrush. And so he did that for a little bit of like the rainbow cup and stuff, where we're doing stroking coats and just like finger painting it on before I threw some honey flux onto it. And I'll usually try to like put down a base coat for him, because kids, they don't really have the attention span to sit there and glaze like 3 full thick coats of, you know, Amaco glazes. So if I can throw on a couple base layers and then just let him go to town on the actual like final layer combination, splatter painted on, that seems to be where he's the happiest, and he loves spending time with mom in the pottery studio. So I'm sure I'll always have more mom and me pottery content coming at you, but anyway, I've been just rambling my face off, so thank you and stay toasty, friends.
You dance? Show us your dance.